That's some bull crap. I just spent 10 minutes for nothing. I gotta go to the gym. Um, I want to do 8 different exercises every single week, and every single week progress the last exercise we just did. So every single week things are gonna get more difficult, but every single week is gonna be as hard as we can make it. So in the beginning, we're gonna start off with 4 different exercises for this workout. We have push-ups on our knees. We have a plank. We have a quarter jump squat and a wall sit. Now with these 4 exercises, I feel this is not as basic as we could get, but with these 4 we can build a strong foundation. The intent of these workouts is to push our muscular endurance and set us up to be in the best position possible for state, to be able to do things with strength the entire time. When I wrestled, one of my major issues was I couldn't go as hard as I could the entire match. Not that my endurance was bad, I would just pace myself and not give it everything I had the entire match. And I've seen people like this. I've seen a lot of wrestlers who win because they just don't ever stop. They're relentless, and it's not like things are clean, but they just break kids down, and that's the best kind of wrestler. That's what. So I want to really push tempo in this. In the beginning, we'll start off with 16 minutes, and every single week our intervals will change, but moving closer and closer to state, we're going to go from 16 minutes to eventually just 9 minutes, and maybe even just 3 minutes, just as hard as we can possibly go. And with that, we'll be able to simulate a real wrestling match. It's not. I don't want to do things that aren't applicable to wrestling or that you couldn't use in wrestling or don't help benefit wrestlers. I want to really focus on what's going to help us and what's going to push our physical ability in the sport. So the first workout consists of a push-up on our knees, a plank, a wall sit, and a quarter jump squat. In the quarter jump squat, it's very important anytime we do any lower body exercise. First thing we do is line our feet up with our hips. So feet are hip width apart, and then from there our toes are pointed straight forward. Now don't let people bend their toes out. Don't let them point them in. It makes a squat easier, but we don't want to build up one stronger side of the body and have one weaker side. So we're going from 2 feet quarter squat. So not full range of motion. Just in a squat, we get to this position, which is 90 degrees. We want to only go to here. So a quarter of the way down, and then from there we're just jumping up. And landing soft. It's very important that we focus on control and the tempo of the exercise. It's not about just jumping as fast as you can and getting as many reps in as you can in the 50 seconds that we're going to be working. It's about controlling jumping as high as you can and landing as quietly as you can. Every single time they reset to where their feet are flat. So heels should be touching the ground every time. Don't let them stay on their toes and just jump up and down. Make sure every time they get back into a good quarter squat and then explode up through their foot, explode up through their toes, explode up through their toes. With that, we're not just building one strong thing and one weak thing. And we'll go from full range of motion and explode. In the plank position, we'll be not just holding it, it's a squeeze. So some things to look for are a lot of times backs will arch like this. The butt will come high. This lower back will sink low. And things I say to avoid that or to fix that is rotate your hips forward. And I'll say just hump hump your hips forward. Because if they hump their hips forward, it really puts a stress on the abs. And that's what we want. We want to stress the core and not break down our lower back. Because just having weight crushing your back isn't building anything up. We want to really squeeze our abs. If they squeeze their glutes and rotate those hips forward, then it'll be a fight, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So you want that back as flat as they can get it, but they have to be squeezing those glutes, so the rest of it will even out if they keep those glutes forward. So if you see that arch in that back, those are the things I look for. The other things, sometimes shoulders will be too high, they'll be pushed way forward. But just make sure they try and get that back as flat as possible and squeeze. You look at their butts. If you see those butt cheeks clenched up, then you know they're really working. Sometimes I go to the side and I push on them, and they have to resist. So they don't push against me. They just squeeze to where I can't push them over. And that's the position we want. We want to be as strong as we possibly can in our entire body's range of motion. So wherever we can move, we want to be able to hold that position. Also, the hands are directly underneath the shoulders. So you don't want elbows out too or hands out too wide or too narrow. Just keep them directly underneath your shoulders and fingers pointing straight forward. From there, elbows are locked out. No bend right here because that puts it into the tricep. And we want to just post on our shoulders, which is our hand right here, one straight line, and then our feet. And from there, we're working on the core, holding everything together. And then a wall sit. In the wall sit, it's very important that we practice just like everything else with the lower body. Feet hip width apart. Step out away from the wall. And your butt comes down to where it's even with your knees, right? So if these are your knees, you don't want your butt way up here. We're going all the way down to where we're even, not past, because that's pressure on the joint. So we got to be even butt to knees. And from this position, don't let them fall down. Don't ever tell them push yourself so hard that they bail out. They have to push as well as they can in this form right here. And that you can always stand up and shake your legs. That's fine. But from this position, focus on trying to get it into your butt. Don't let those hips push you away from the wall. Keep that back flat on the wall the entire time. And from there, don't let knees be over toes, of course. And push into your heels. Don't let your heels lift up off the ground. Really dig into those heels. You want to be able to wiggle your toes at all times. So don't be up on your toes, but dig into your heels. And from that, you'll feel it in the glutes. You'll definitely feel it in the quad. It's going to burn. Make sure they're not going too low, and keep it clean. A push-up on our knees. So with a push-up on our knees, it's very important that we squeeze. We want constant tension in this chest muscle. So when we're in our push-up, we don't want to come all the way up to where our elbows are locking out. Right? We want to stress this muscle as much as possible. So getting to post on here is putting on our shoulder, and it's not really stressing the chest. So in order to get here, we're going to keep constant tension on the chest, full range of motion all the way down. Full range of motion all the way down. Touch your chest to the ground. Keep your hips forward and squeeze your core. Squeeze those glutes just like in a plank. Once you touch the ground, you come up to where your elbow has a slight bend. We're looking like that. So elbow with a slight bend. You don't want to lock out. Elbow slight bend keeps the tension on this chest muscle, and just keep pushing. So it's not about getting reps. It's about keeping as many seconds of stress on this muscle as we can. So really squeeze from the chest and press out as many as you can with tension. If you get 10, that's fine as long as they're 10 really concentrated squeezes. We want to be as strong as we can throughout the entire range of motion, not just for this part right here. We want to be strong all the way through, because this part right here means that this part down here, you're weak and people are going to expose you. So we got to make sure that we're just squeezing throughout the entire lift and focusing on the squeeze. I want to focus on getting people to state and not just on beating up some Emmett kid in the middle of the week. So it's not important to me that you guys are rested for a match tomorrow that doesn't have much to do with anything. It's important that we get as many people as we can to state and then win state. It's not about having a great record during the year. That's nice, but if you guys have the mentality that we're going to work as hard as we can every single day, and that's the mentality I want you to have, then we'll be fine. So I hope if you have a match on Thursday and we're supposed to work out on Wednesday, go through the workout, go hard. Don't try and save anything, and then make that match push you. You don't want to have any easy matches. No easy matches. Every match, try and learn something new. Every day, try and do one more rep than you did yesterday. And by the time we get to state, we'll be the best we can. That's what I'm pushing for.